Hey guys, this is Scott once again with the Potter's House, and I want to make this teaching, this video, will be called the word me and the RSV. And I want to go back and revisit a couple of things and make things possibly a little bit more plain than what we did in the Zachariah 12:10 video that we did yesterday. I'm not going to reteach that video, but maybe just add a couple of things to that video. And the reason being is that woke up today and saw a couple of posts by some people who insist that Zechariah 12:10 is mistranslated and that the word me does not belong in that, but the word him. And one of them um, made the comment that the RSV had it correct because the RSV says they will look upon him. And we'll address that here in just a minute. But once again, in case you did not watch the Zechariah 12:10 video, I want us to look at um, the the piece of verse that is in uh, question. We'll just say in question. And that would be this verse here. This is the part that says that they will look upon me. This is from a screenshot from the Bible Hub. And you will notice on there the word on me. The Aleph, the Lamed, and the Yod, or the letters there on me. Here it is blown up. You can see it better. Okay, now the thing is that they say that that word me does not belong in that verse, in that scripture. Well, if we look at the Hebrew word for me, do you see that it is the Lamed and the Yod? Now let's look at the word on me. So you have an Ahmed, or a Aleph, Lamed, and a Yod. So the word me is, and it does belong in that verse. Let's see. And in the Zechariah 12:10, we showed how that the word on him, what that word is. I don't have that with me today to show you again, but if you look on the Zechariah 12:10 video, it's going to be right there in the beginning where we show that on him and on me are not the same word. But if we look, let's look at a couple different versions and um, how they translated Zechariah 12:10. This is the One New Man Bible, and it says, verse 10, and I shall pour out the spirit of grace and supplications upon the house of David and upon the inhabitants of Jerusalem, and they will look to me whom they have pierced. And it goes to and has a reference of John 19:37. So John 19:37, as we saw yesterday, was one of those places that they say that John was referencing, which he was referencing Zechariah 12:10, but they say that this also goes to prove that Zechariah 12:10 should say that it is on him. Well, I do have, and we showed this yesterday, John 19:37, and we're going to see that the word used in John 19:37 actually means the one. It does not mean him. And then I'll go to Revelation 1 and 7, I believe. and say that it also points that it should be him. Well, the difference is that in John 1, he uses the word one. They will look on the one. Well, who is the one? Um, Zachariah 12 and 10, Yahweh is speaking. So the one would be Yahweh, thus proving that. And the reason they want to say him is because these people want to separate Yahweh and Yeshua. They're going to say that Yeshua was not divine, that he was not God in the flesh, as John tells us that he was in his gospel. John 1 says, in the beginning was the Word is with God, and the Word was God. And you go on down, it says, and the Word became flesh. So if the Word was Yahweh, then Yahweh became flesh. And 1 Timothy 3:16, Paul tells us that Yahweh was manifested in the flesh. That would be Yeshua. But they try to use these verses to say that Yeshua was just a man. He was just flesh and blood, and just picked for a purpose, chosen for a purpose to be Messiah. But their argument does not hold water. It falls apart. So here in the One New Man Bible, it says they will look on me. And it does say him, but that him is referencing back to the me, referencing back to who they're going to be looking at. This is the uh, Tree of Life version. Here's how it reads, 12 and 10. Then I will pour out on the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and supplication when they look toward me, whom they have pierced. They will mourn for him. Who's the him? It's not a different him. The him is referencing the one that they pierced. As one mourns for an only son and grieves bitterly for him, as one grieves for a firstborn. So here again, Tree of Life version says they will look unto me. This is the complete Jewish Bible. 12 and 10. It says, and I will pour out on the house of David and on those living in Jerusalem a spirit of grace and prayer, and they will look to me whom they have pierced. So here again, it says, and they will mourn for him as one mourns for an only son. Who is the him? The him is going to be Yahweh. They're going to see Yahweh as Yeshua. And then this is the one that we looked at yesterday. We used the ESV. And it says, and I will pour out on the house of David and the inhabitants of Jerusalem a spirit of grace and pleas for mercy, so that they will look on me. And then the thing is, the ESV uses a comma, on me, comma, on him. Here again, that him is referencing back to the one they have pierced, whom they have pierced. The King James is going to say me. The NIV, which is not one of my favorite versions of the scripture, is going to say me. But those that want to argue that the word should be on him say that the RSV got it correct. Now, these same people scream two witnesses, two witnesses, two witnesses. Well, I have used the witnesses that they use to say that him should be in that verse. I have used those witnesses to prove to you that the word me is the correct word. I've used the same scriptures to show you that it is not a division of Yahweh and Yeshua, that they are both one. They're not separate. Yeshua was not just a man. So we've used their witnesses, and then I have given you 1, 2, 3, 4. If you count the King James that we did not read from today, that's 5. The NIV is 6. And I did not check any other versions, but they say the RSV got it correctly. So we're going to say that 1 out of those 6 got it right by saying him. Then if the King James is one of the only versions that says Easter in the book of Acts, then the church today, today could say that the King James got it right. To say that the RSV got it right when the word itself in the Hebrew is on me, and then the RSV translates it on him or unto him, or however it translates it, and say they've got it right, they've got it wrong. They are placing a word in there that clearly does not belong in there. If you're going to use that to say that Yeshua and Yahweh are not the same being, or that Yeshua was just flesh and blood, there was no divinity about him. Now, the thing about the RSV, that I will say this, and I've not studied in depth about the RSV, I don't use the RSV, but I do know that the Catholic Church does not endorse the King James Bible. The Catholic Church does not endorse the ESV Bible. The Catholic Church does not endorse the complete Jewish Bible. They do not endorse the Tree of Life version, and they do not endorse the One New Man Bible. The Catholic Church, I don't know if I said that, yeah, I think I said they do not endorse the NIV Bible. The Catholic Church does not endorse those versions, or those translations, if you want to call them that, of the scriptures. The Catholic Church does endorse the RSV, the Revised Standard Versions. So here is my thing. If you want to, and I want to make it clear again in case there was an argument to arise, the Catholic Church does not endorse the King James Bible. The Catholic Church does not stand behind the King James Bible. But here again, they do stand behind and endorse the Revised Standard Version that I heard one person use as saying they got the correct RSV, done it correctly when they said on him, look on him. So I would be leery if I was uh, Hebrew roots, a commandment keeper, Sabbath keeper, a Torah keeper, whatever you define yourself as being. I would be leery in backing and saying that a Bible that the Catholic Church endorses had it correct. If you're going to say the Catholic Church messed up on the Sabbath, they messed up on Passover and the feast days, and they replaced those things, then I would question if the Bible that they endorse mistranslates a scripture. I would be leery of that. Also, one of the teachers that teach this, and I've not looked into his teaching because I do not support him, and that would be Rav Shaul. He also teaches evidently that it should be look on him. Here again, I don't know. I've not looked at his teaching. I regard his teachings as false in his understanding on some issues. So I don't study him or fellowship Rav Shaul, Paul Sides. But I would be leery if what he is doing is supported, or any scripture he is using in the same form the Catholic Church uses it, and twisting the scriptures to say something that they don't say. I would urge caution with that also. But on a good note, back on a good note, this is Friday. This is preparation day for the Sabbath. So let me end this with saying we're looking forward to our Sabbath service. Join us if you're able to. We'll be live from our Facebook page around 6:30, 6:45, depending on when we get all the preliminaries done. But it should be in that area. And we will be teaching on the power of prayer this Sabbath, Saturday. So if you can, join us. If not, we want to say Shabbat Shalom.